Was there ever a moment where you questioned yourself? What helped you start shifting your mindset? What made the decision to transfer? What helped you stay positive or motivated? How do you stay confident even after all these setbacks? What advice would you give to an athlete who feels stuck wherever they're at?
I would say
hello everyone and welcome to my podcast. In today's episode I'm excited because we're diving into something that a lot of athletes go through but don't actually talk about, and it is mental health, injuries and bouncing back when things don't go your way. So we're also going to touch on some counselling services and why having support really does matter, especially as a student athlete. And today I'm joined by someone who has an amazing story of resilience. It's my girlfriend, Jaden.
yay!
So a little bit of facts about her. In high school, she was ranked as a number 2 prospect in the whole state of Virginia and ranked number 108th nationally. She comes from a family where her mother played tennis at the college level and also went on a pro tour, and her father was also a collegiate tennis player too. Jaden, I appreciate you coming on. I think your journey is something that a lot of athletes can relate to, especially when things don't go as planned. So for some people, being an athlete is an escape and it gives them peace and a break from everything going on in their life. And for others, an athlete can feel like pressure where their sport becomes something that adds stress instead of taking it away. According to medium.com, being an athlete is not just about how good you are, it is about your mindset, your passion and your willingness to keep pushing yourself to grow. Yeah, so Jaden, can you start by telling everyone a bit about your journey, especially going from being third in lineup at your school and dropping down and now transferring?
Sure. So, yeah, I went to Charleston Southern. I was at the best point of my tennis career so far. And I got there, there was a lot of added pressure. I didn't have a great relationship with the team. And I very quickly went from doing really well as a freshman to then one match, everything changed, and I didn't see the courts for the rest of the year. And I entered the portal, and then going into this year, now I'm at Seton Hall. And I started off a little bit slow again. I had barely any confidence going into the school year. It's improved steadily from there. And yeah, now I'm really happy with where I'm at tennis-wise. I'm surrounded by a great group of people, and I found a lot of happiness playing tennis again.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what was going through your mind when you got moved down the lineup?
At first, I felt like it was unfair. That was my first reaction.
Yeah.
It was like, why is this happening? Like, I was kind of making excuses for it. And then I thought that it was going to change back because I upped my level of intensity at practice. I talked to the coach about it and she said I'd be seeing the court again soon. And then I started to feel hopeless after nothing changed, and like a few months had passed and still nothing had changed, and then my confidence kept dropping as far as like how good of a player I was.
I'm guessing that did that affect your confidence at the time?
Yeah,
It did.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah.
Massively, because even going into the summer, I was training, but I didn't have that same passion for playing because I felt like nothing was coming from it. And I was just hoping that when I got to Seton Hall, I wouldn't play too bad. But I had a very negative outlook on everything.
You did amazing to bounce back from that as well. Was there ever a moment where you questioned yourself or your ability? Yeah.
Definitely. It changed a lot over that year.
It happens all the time, because I feel like a lot of athletes, they tie that identity to performance as well. Did you feel like that during the time?
Yeah, because I think growing up, like you said, my parents are both really well-seasoned tennis players, and that's a big connection with myself to them, a big connection with myself to my friends. I was even homeschooled during high school to travel for tennis. It's been a massive part of my life, and so going from that being a massive part but performing well to it being a massive part but performing poorly, it really did change how I viewed myself, I would say.
I'm guessing it did impact your mental day to day.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely did.
What helped you start shifting your mindset from like not being confident to now you're confident as anyone can be?
The biggest difference, like it was a specific match.
Yeah.
We had just started the season at Seton Hall, and our coach had us go out there and compete, and we didn't play very well as a team, but afterwards he put so much emphasis on how good my attitude was on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been recognized for anything mentally in a long time. It was just solely execution of play. And so when he complimented that, and I felt like that was something that I could really control, I just kept focusing on that for every match, and it actually eliminated a lot of nerves, and I just started to find myself in like a much better mental state, because every time I felt myself slipping or getting frustrated myself, I was just telling myself, you know, go back to your routine, go back to looking at your strings, that kind of thing. That was a big shift in my mindset.
Nowadays on sports in college, we have the transfer portal, and that's what Jaden and I myself also went through. And basically, if you don't know what the transfer portal is a new addition to college sports. It is run by the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, and it is a non-profit organization that regulates, organizes, and governs athletics for over 1,000 US colleges and universities. Transfer portal is a digital database that allows students to officially declare their intent to transfer to another school. Its goal is to empower athletes by streamlining the process, improving transparency for coaches to contact them, and creating a compliant and centralized system to manage team changes. So I found this actually pretty interesting. According to the realresponse.com, more than 31,000 student athletes have entered the portal in 2023 alone, with approximately 45% successfully moving to new schools. So that means more than half do not land with a new team, leaving their athletic and academic careers in question. Because you play tennis, I want to have a little deep dive into tennis, and there was a post on Facebook saying that tennis had over 150 players in the transfer portal on the 5th of May in 2025. So on that one day, 150 players entered the portal.
I was one of them.
Which is kind of crazy. And that's just tennis. In football, it's even more, which is crazy. Numbers like that, hundreds of athletes are in the transfer portal at one time, and it just shows how competitive it really is. The transfer portal can also be risky because there are way more athletes looking for opportunities than there are spots available. So when athletes enter the portal, there is no guarantee that they will find a better situation or even a team at all. And this can hurt athletes because they might leave a stable situation expecting something better, but it doesn't come. The coaches have so many options of great players, some can go overlooked. It can also hurt an athlete's confidence if you're not getting picked up right away. And then constant moving can affect their development as an athlete, both physically and mentally. But with that being said, this also shows that something important. It shows that everyone in the portal is still chasing something. Just because the path is not straightforward does not mean it's over. Everyone's journey looks different, and sometimes setbacks, like being overlooked or having to transfer, are actually what builds you into a stronger athlete mentally. So what made the decision to transfer, and now you're in the second lineup with a great winning record? Jaden's record at Seton Hall, as I was writing this, it was 15-8 in singles.
Now
Has it changed?
17-8.
Look at that. It keeps going up. So what gave you that confidence to go? What gave you that confidence to make that move?
Honestly, at that time, I didn't have much confidence to make the move. It was more desperation because I didn't want to stay at that school.
Yeah.
Patrick transferred first,
Mm-hmm.
so I knew he wasn't going to be there anymore. And then my best friend also transferred, so the people tying me closest to the school left. And my mom just really encouraged me to transfer. She said she thought it'd be really good for, one, better academics, and then also just finding like the fun and the joy in tennis again. And it didn't seem like I was going to get that just with the situation at our last school. So I wasn't very confident making that move, unfortunately, but I'm really glad it worked out for the best.
I always forgot to say her doubles was also 14 and 10.
Yeah.
It's just a winning record on both singles and doubles. So what changed you at Seton Hall? Winning all the time now.
I would say something that changed a lot was our coach giving me constant opportunities to perform.
Mm.
Like I said at my last school, I still did, I had a winning record, but I barely played any matches. And as soon as I lost one match, I was completely out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And even at the bottom of the lineup, our girls would say, you know, I can't lose a match, or I think the coach is going to take me out completely. And so
basically, yeah.
it is, because that kind of pressure made it nearly impossible to like perform at our highest level, you know, because how are you supposed to play well when you feel like everything's at stake with every single point that you play? So
you just can't.
No, so I think our coach has done a really great job of just fostering like a very kind, encouraging atmosphere.
Good. Do you think it was more of a physical change or that mental change?
Mental, 1000%.
Yeah.
And I think the next step is I need to get stronger. So
no, that will come over time. That will come, because you're already strong anyway. I can see the improvements. Also with athletes, there comes with injuries, and that can also affect the mental health. So I want to talk about your injuries, because that's something that a lot of athletes struggle with. According to the Sports Journal, elite athletes show that over 50% of injured ones experience mental health struggles at some point. And the injured athletes that are facing the higher risks of these injuries also experience a lot of anxiety and depression during the recovery. So have you dealt with any injuries throughout your career?
Mainly illnesses the past 2 years. I've had a lot of health issues that have taken me in and out of practice.
Yep.
Sometimes a few weeks at a time, one time an entire month at a time. So yes, I have.
How did it affect your mindset?
It was tough. It felt very discouraging, because I would feel a certain level of progress that would just come to an immediate halt, because I was unable to practice, and that was something entirely out of my control. And I think it was just, I was initially frustrated because while my teammates were doing amazing, I just wanted to be there like with them and get to practice and get to continue improving, and then you just feel like you're taking a few steps back during that time.
What helps you stay positive or motivated?
I'd say that the biggest motivator was just knowing that by putting myself out there, I was improving. So like after being able to come back, knowing that the first day wasn't going to look good, you'd always tell me that. But to let go of any expectations and just to know that any time spent is improving yourself. And it doesn't matter if you're starting from a different baseline, it's still a step in the right direction. So
there is counselling and support, believe it or not, for athletes. According to athletesforhope.org, they say that with young adults, especially college athletes, the statistics are crazy, because 33% of all college athletes or college students experience significant symptoms of depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions. And only among that group, 30% seek help. But out of college athletes with mental health conditions, only 10% do. And also I want to point out, with the professional athletes too, it says that up to 35% of the elite athletes suffer from mental health crises, which may manifest as stress, eating disorders, burnout, or depression and anxiety. So have you ever used counselling or talked to someone during these tough times?
Briefly. I think every now and then I think that I need to revisit it, but really it should be more consistent, and I shouldn't just wait until I need to revisit it. Like it should be a bi-weekly thing, but I have used counseling.
That's good. What are your thoughts on athletes using mental health resources?
I think it's great, and that's what they're there for. I think
it's good.
I think it's really great, and I don't think that there should be any kind of stigma around it, because you gotta do what you gotta do, and that's literally their job, is to help.
The percentage is so small that I think more student athletes should reach out, because it's normal, but not a lot of them do it. What would you say to someone who's struggling but doesn't want to reach out?
I would say, I would tell them to reach out.
Wow.
I would tell them that it's much better to give it a shot and see if it helps than to wonder if it's going to help but never make any sort of action towards it. There's a lot of free services at schools, and it's very underutilized. So I would say to go for it.
Look how inspirational she is. And we're going to have some advice from you because you're a D1 tennis athlete. So it's like, everyone wants to aspire to be at D1 status. So what advice would you give to an athlete who feels stuck or overlooked?
I would say it's just keep pushing through that stuck period and wait for things to turn around because they always do. And I think sometimes athletics can feel a bit cyclical and you can go through a few weeks, even a few months of feeling
down,
just inadequate.
Yeah.
But really sometimes all it takes is one great match, one great game, maybe by luck at that time period or whatnot, but all it takes is a little bit to get the ball rolling again. So I would just say, you know, keep pushing.
You keep building that shield. That's what you
Exactly.
keep doing. So how do you stay confident even after all these setbacks? What's the secret sauce?
I think the secret sauce is faking it until you make it, because I think it's nearly impossible to feel confident at all times as an athlete, because there's always going to be other people competing and other people, you know, that are going to win, because somebody's always going to win in this sport. And so I think, yeah, you just have to trust that you are putting a lot of effort into it. You're doing everything within your control. Yeah. And after that point, you know, just fake it till you make it, and 100%. You're going to get another win.
100%. So now you are, quote unquote, wise from all this journey. So what does mental toughness mean to you now?
I would say mental toughness is just even when you feel like everything's going against you, or even when you feel like you're trying your best and just nothing is working out, you still keep trying. That effort doesn't wave. And that's like the tough part to it. I don't think there's anything easy about that process, and I think it's very uncomfortable at times, but it's got to be done.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think your story is a great example of resilience and trust in the process, even when things are not going your way. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all of that, and it's definitely going to help out a lot of people listening. And to everyone listening, if you're going through something similar, whether it's injuries, confidence, or feeling stuck, just remember that you're not alone and that there are resources out there to help. So thank you, and thank you, Jaden. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.